Very much. Thank you all for being here today. It's a great turnout, and we're very excited as we have our countdown to April 9th, and then that number is shrinking by the day. Now that football season's over, it's in our minds it's truly baseball season. It's always baseball season here, but it's we can really start thinking and talking baseball now. And with that today, we wanted to bring you out, and we're very excited to unveil our new home uniform. I've talked to some of you guys about the new home uniform, and this year the major change you'll notice on the uniform is we're wearing the name of our city on the front of the uniform this year. So we'll wear Fresno loud and proud. Our goal is to be a Fresno club, a Central Valley club, that this can be the pride of the Valley. And we're going to have our guys wear that across the front of the jersey this season. So we get a chance to look at that. We're very honored today to have our new manager in the building and here in Fresno. He's been in Fresno a number of times over the years. We've been on the opposite side of the field with him a number of years. And so we're excited today. Tony will be the first person to wear our new home uniform and model that for you. And we're excited. You know, when we found out Tony was going to be the manager here for our club, Tony and I had a conversation back in September and getting acquainted. And the first thing he said to me, he said, "Hey, what's going on out there in Fresno?" And I said, "Hey, we're excited to have you on board this year, and we're looking forward to it." And Tony said, "Hey, what do you think about winning a PCL championship this year?" And I had to sit for a second, and I thought about that, and I said, "You know, Tony, we don't usually talk about that here. We're not used to talking about championships in Fresno." And so I'd like to bring up and introduce Tony DeFrancesco, our manager, who's won 3 PCL championships, 7 division titles, and has 16 winning seasons under his belt. Mr. Tony DeFrancesco.
This will be my 12th year in the PCL. And when I got here, I was a young manager, and I got lucky. I was up in Sacramento. We won the first year. We won 92 games. We were swept through the playoffs, and we wound up winning the championship. And I come back for 04. We go back to the playoffs. We win back-to-back championships again. And I feel like I'm the Tom Brady of the PCL. As you guys know Tom's story, when he got into the NFL, he was hot for the first 3 or 4 years, and he won 3 championships, and then he got cold. And in baseball, you kind of go up and down. And we got to the playoffs a few years. We came in close a couple times, but I think this year is the time when you're going to see the Astro organization have some of their top players in the league. Jeff Luno, who's the general manager there, he's a guy that has a vision, and we all believe in it. And I want to thank Jerry and Chris and Derek for making me come up here and be part of this. And you know, for me, I'm about winning. And I hope that the city of Fresno welcomes me and our team and the Astros. And I know it's giant country. And I know you guys had some great success over the last 5 years, and the Giants are a great organization. But it's our turn. It's the Astros' time. We took our lumps for the last 4 or 5 years. I don't know if you know this, but Brad Mills, who's going to be at the banquet tomorrow night, was fired in 2012, and I was asked to be the manager of the Astros at that time. So it'll be interesting for me to see Brad again, even though we have a great relationship, but he was put in a rough spot, and I got a chance to manage in the major leagues, and it's one of the, a memory that I'll have the rest of my life, and hopefully I'll get another chance at it. But right now, my goal is to get these players. DeMarc Rappel's the #1 pick from Stanford. There's a young player from Puerto Rico, Carlos Correa. He's our top prospect. I think he's 3rd in all of baseball right now. That eventually he's going to play on these grounds, and hopefully it'll be this year, and we'll watch him go to the big leagues. And it'll be the next wave of these great players that are going to help the Astros get to the World Series. George Springer, you know, one time last year did a Sports Illustrated article, and George Springer is on the cover, and it says 2017 is our year. So there's no pressure, but we're hoping it's going to come quicker. And like I said, there's some great people. It's a young group of guys that came up through the system, and our minor league system was top over years, #1, #2, and the young A teams have been winning championships. So the next wave of winning players are on their way. And for me, I want to win. I don't care what anybody says. I get kind of, people think I'm all about winning. But I'm a manager and I'm a coach. No matter what sport you play, you're going to play darts, you're going to go bowling, you try to win. And that's what this is all about. And we're going to develop winning players. And I know that's what Jeff wants out of me. Quentin McCracken, Reed Ryan, these are great people that know they're baseball people. And hopefully it'll happen this year. And I'll do my best every day to communicate with all you people. And I just want a nice relationship with all you guys, that we're all on the same page. And at the end of the season, we look back and we see how it went, and hopefully we'll be celebrating. But thanks again for having me. I live down in Phoenix. I'm a West Coast guy. I love California, and I'm glad to be back. Thank you. You got some questions?
Any questions?
Tony, how would you say the Astros organization is different from Oakland?
You know, it's very similar. I mean, I was with Oakland for almost 20 years, and Billy Beane does a great job. They got a continuity between the minor leagues and the major leagues, and we're on the same page right now. And I think our philosophies are the same. We're using a lot of sabermetrics, we're using a lot of numbers and stats, and we're just hopefully we put the players in the right spot. So when you're watching our game, you might see a second baseman out in right field. You might see a shortstop on the second base side of second base. You see the third baseman way over at short. And that's the way the game has come. The percentages say that the ball is going to be hit on a certain side. We got enough information now at the AAA level where we can look at our stat sheets and say, hey, our percentages, we're going to move guys. So when you're watching the game, you might say, what's this guy doing? And before you know it's a ground ball to right field, and they throw the guy out first base, and we get a big out. And we're learning as we go along, but I think that's the way the game's going.
Tony, in that regard, the stolen base seems to be a lost art in baseball. Does the Astros organization have speed, and are you going to utilize that?
Well, my style is, you know, whoever's on my 25-man roster, that's how I play the game. And I'm not afraid to play some National League style baseball that you guys are used to. I will safety squeeze, I will push bunt, I will do a squeeze once in a while. You'll see a lot of hit and runs, and the personnel is going to dictate that. And right now, the way that I'm looking at our club trying to develop, it's hard to say because Jeff went out and got some big quality players that made more competition for spring training, and they're going to battle it out. And some guys that were major leaguers over the last 2 or 3 years might have to spend some time here, and that just makes our team better. Because these guys want to get back to the big leagues, and they're going to work even harder, and they want to prove that they made a mistake. So hopefully, if I answered your question, that's what I'm trying to do.
Hey, you say you're a West Coast guy, but I'm here in East Coast. Where are you from?
Well, when I grew up, they used to call me Anthony. I grew up in New York. So all my close buddies call me Anthony. And then if you like me, you get to call me Tony. But if you call me Anthony, that's a little different. That's more personal. So it's just the way we grew up. But I grew up in New York. I went to Seton Hall University, which is in New Jersey. And I'm very happy to say that Craig Biggio is the first Hall of Famer out of Seton Hall in the Houston Astros. He's a good friend of mine. I wound up drafted by a Yankee fan, drafted by the Red Sox. Played 9 years in the minor leagues, grinded it out. And I've been managing for over 20 years, and like I said, I'm not just like a player. My ultimate goal is one day get another shot to be a major league manager, and hopefully one day it'll happen.
It's early, but what would you say is a timeline for Appel to land in Fresno?
Appel? Well, as you know, he started in Lancaster, and you know, pro ball is a lot different. You got to work on a lot of different things, and travel, and mental baseball, and preparation. He finally figured it out. He went to AA. Had a great fall league, so we're excited. You know, it's up to Mark. If Mark's ready for AAA, I'm sure they're going to put him here as soon as they can. But he's the guy that's developing, and he's the guy we're counting on to be a #1 starter for us and lead us to the promised land.
How closely will the Major League organization monitor the lineup each day?
That's something that I've been with Jeff now 4 years now, 5 years. You know, there's recommendations, but you know, everybody thinks, you know, they put a lineup on my desk and we're going to go with this. That's definitely not what happens here. And AJ Hinch is the new manager. And it's such a small world. AJ was drafted by Oakland. I was his catching instructor for 3 or 4 years over there. And, you know, I got to know AJ very well over the years. I helped him catch. And then, you know, he went on to have a great career. Now he's leading us with the Astros. So our relationship has already been good. We've been talking about players, and I think it's just going to get better.